Have you ever wanted to work with a Save Club top leader or wonder what it's like to work with a top leader in Save Club? And so, as of this moment, I'm still number 3 on the leaderboard. But more importantly, and this video is not all about me, but there's so much crap out on the internet, and there's some really important lessons I want to share with you today about my journey over these last 19 years. So one of the big things you have to understand is that if you don't have a really good support structure, and if you are, just off on your own, and the only thing you have is the company materials and the company websites, and you don't have a mentor, and you're not modeling someone who's made millions of dollars and been doing this for almost 2 decades and has built teams of over 100,000 people, that's where this wisdom is coming from. But more importantly than that are the people that I have modeled from since I started in May of 2006. So at the time of this video, I've been doing this now 19 years and 1 month now. And it doesn't really matter. I can't believe it's that long. But I've always sought out seeking a top leader. I've always looked for incredible mentorship. And there are times in this past 19 years where I wasn't even in the network marketing industry. But to have such an incredible thing like Save Club, and really just to have what's happening within is incredible. From what myself and my sponsor and everyone who can tell and everything, it looks like I probably have the fastest growing and one of the biggest teams in the entire company currently. We just crossed, a few days ago, we crossed 1,500 members when the company was around 7,000 paid members. And it's wild to see just how it's taken a life of its own, but that it is totally surprising in a lot of ways. I've never had a team or a company grow this fast. In fact, here's something really important to share with you, is that this is just a little $20 per month membership, and I've never made as much. And I'm going to share with you a little bit that I can't promise you're going to make anything, insert income disclaimer here, because it's all going to come down to your efforts, what you choose to do with the business. And also, there is a little luck sometimes. Sometimes you don't know when you're just going to have somebody that you bring in and they just happen to know somebody who's like a gigantic influencer. Next thing you know, you have a team of thousands of people. Exactly like what happened to one of my friends named Dawn on my team. She joined early on. We launched this thing back on April 21st. By the way, today is June 1st. We're officially launched now. And back almost, it'll be 6 weeks as of tomorrow on June 2nd. So just 6 weeks ago, Dawn joined me. She recruited 2 people. Just people she had already known. The first person didn't do anything. They just sat there. In fact, I just found out, this is insane. They just canceled their membership and they got removed from the matrix on the cutoff 2 nights ago. On the Friday night, midnight Pacific cutoff, this person lost their entire business because they didn't want to pay their $20 a month. They had already paid $80 to come in because they paid the annual affiliate fee, which is $60. Now, it would have been a different situation if you would have committed at the annual level, which is only $300. And if you're insanely tight on money, that's fine if you can't do that now. But imagine, here's the deal. This guy already had almost 10 people on his team. He wasn't plugged in. He wasn't paying attention. He did know he had people below him. You get paid on spillover in this company. And so here's a little side note. Why would you want to work with a top leader? And leadership is more than just someone who can recruit a ton of people. It's far, far, far more important than just, hey, I joined a top recruiter. That is different from a top leader. And that's something I am super happy with over the course of my 19 years in this industry. I've worked with so many of the greatest 7- and 8-figure income earners. Not all of them, because there's 100 incredible, life-changing mentors out there. But I've worked with a dozen or more. And people in the Hall of Fame and all this kind of stuff. And I share all that to say, if you get around people, you know, the sum of your life, you become the sum of the 5 books, the 5 mentors, the you know, the 5 everything. Whatever you surround your life by is what you become. You see those dark clouds? So that's why I'm shooting the video before that is pouring down on us. And so a true top leader in Save Club versus just a top recruiter, those are different things. You may get spillover from a top recruiter, but who's going to help you when you're feeling down or you have a new challenging situation and you go to someone and they're like, dude, just go plug into the company stuff? Or worse, what if they don't reply the message at all? Or they just tell you, dude, just go buy this training. That's why I made it. It's only $5,000. Now I'm being, I don't know if the word is facetious. I'm exaggerating there, but I see that stuff happen all the time. A top leader understands and listens and empathizes and literally puts themselves in your shoes. And so you want someone who is truly a leader that doesn't just provide spillover, that doesn't just have, you know, all of this marketing experience, but they have life experience and leadership experience and when stuff hits the fan experience. And so those are some of the traits you really want to look for. And so, you know, if you want to check more about this, just go down. I have a link below. You can lock in a free spot in our powerline. You can check out how this stuff works. And please feel free to just, you know, you'll get an email. Feel free to just email me directly. You'll have my contact info in the back office. And I will share, I'm primarily active in Facebook Messenger, but I respond to emails usually at least once a day. And, you know, if you're looking for mentorship, by the way, it's not just going to be you and I working together. When I am not building teams, my rates are $1,000 per hour. And I know almost like they're that for a reason. I don't want, I want to only work with the most qualified people in the way that are tackling the biggest problems and changing humanity forever. And I don't have any billable hours, but I'm sharing with you, it's not going to be just you. I want to help set your expectations. I'm going to plug you into my team, Team Inspire. We have dozens and dozens of 6, 7, and 8-figure income earners all throughout the team, all sharing the same thing. This is the greatest team they've ever seen. They can't, I have a friend that's made $1 million in the industry, and they're telling me like, I've never seen anything like this. I didn't even know we could take leadership to this level. And here's the deal, like, we've already had trainings that I'm not even on there, even though I'm the founder of the team. And we have some of my closest friends and mentors co-leading the team with me. And we are duplicating our leadership. So something about a top leader, what if something happened to me? Or what if something happened to my co-leaders? What if something happened to someone who's running the show? And even if it's just, hopefully, just like a temporary emergency or something, but there's been times where, like when I was with my dad, when he was having a multiple heart bypass back about 12, 13 years ago, I wasn't doing a lot of business because I was spending all the time with my dad. So imagine how stressed I was leading my team back then because we hadn't really duplicated leadership. What we've done here, we are duplicating top leaders. I have like over a dozen people on the company leaderboard, and it only shows the top 50. And so it gives you a little bit of a feel for, and now again, I have amazing leaders on the team that have made 7 figures. They're not even on the leaderboard. So please, you have to understand, by the way, one of the guys with the biggest teams in this company, and they're probably one of the first people that are going to end up at 5-star outside of my good friend Pete, that I think Pete will probably hit it first before everyone. But the gentleman, there's a guy named Mark that's probably going to hit it before most others, even before me. And last I had checked, he only referred in 4 people. Now these are 4, they're like 4 Jasons kind of stuff. They're super qualified Save Club top leaders. Now, I don't know them personally. I don't know their level of leadership. Maybe they just have a big network. Maybe they're just dumping people in. I don't know if they're creating team culture. I don't know anything about that, but I can tell you, I have people all throughout this whole company that they want to come take part in our team training, and we just can't. It's a part you want to be careful about who you join. You want to be very selective. So here's what I'm going to leave you with, some nuggets, is that I have so carefully, now not early in my career, I was not careful about who I joined. I didn't know to look for top leaders. In fact, the company that took me to a full-time income, what happened was that I joined the company, I wasn't getting any help, and I joined somebody who was just a marketer. And they were just marketing and they weren't leading. And in fact, they were building like 4 or 5 other things, which their heart wasn't even in this. Their heart was in, get a bunch of eyeballs, slam the people in, and people will join stuff and then they make money. That was their definition of success online. And my heart has always been more interested in human behavior, even then. I have a math computer science degree and I'm a comp plan consultant. And we'll talk all about the compensation plan, but I share all this to say by the way, those skills don't really go together. Someone who was a software engineer and has all the task-oriented stuff mastered, but then someone who is even more fascinated by human behavior, and that alone, it's such a unique, set of traits for someone to have. That really has given me a big advantage in the industry, especially because I'm always on the bleeding edge of technology. And so part of how I stay a top leader and help other people become top leaders, like in saveclub, that is by helping them duplicate everything I've done and mastering technology. And I don't care how afraid you are. I'll share a story from back in 2008. I had a gal named Ruth join a team. I was just about to go full-time, or I had just gone full-time. I actually went full-time in 2007, but it was too early. And I ended up having to go back to work what would be my last ever job. So I meet Ruth. I'd ran a Craigslist ad, right? In the classified ads. Actually, I don't even know if there was Craigslist back then, but it was a newspaper classified ad kind of a thing. She didn't even know how to use email. Ruth is 83, back then was 83 years old, from California, great grandmother, loved horses, amazing. She was such an awesome person. Uncannily open-minded for an 83-year-old. But she definitely was set in her ways in a lot of ways too. And so, but I share this because she didn't even know how to email me. But yet within the next 90 days, 3 to 6 months, she had learned technology. She was building an email list. She was literally attracting in people online that were peers. And these peers were joining her and her team was growing. And she had a $400 per month residual income. 83 years old, zero tech. Now that took an enormous amount of one-on-one coaching, and I didn't know how to create tutorials, and I didn't know how to do anything back then. So I have sunk in, this is like, I'm not sharing this to impress you, but just to let you know how serious I am about personal development and especially human behavior. I put in over $250,000 into my personal education, and it's been highly focused around human behavior, which includes leadership, communication, network marketing, events, making money, all that kind of stuff. Just like everything we're doing, all the skills that you would need to become, a huge top leader in saveclub or in anything else. And going through all those skills, and then also mastering finances, I've sought the wisdom of the secrets of the universe. And I'm not exaggerating about that. I really mean that. And it's been, a constant journey, something that is constantly, I'm always learning. It's all that, and then also technology. Tons of human behavior, technology, and there's tons of other stuff, health, fitness, nutrition, all kinds of things. But I don't usually I don't talk about a lot of that stuff publicly very often. And so the reason I'm sharing all that is that if Ruth is 83 years old, and if she was making $400 a month, I don't care if you're in your 80s or 90s, or if you're like 18. There is a place for you, and I am 100% confident I have exactly what you need if you are here to do the work, and if you are hungry enough to start to change the course of your life. And so let me go back to that company, which took me to full time, right? So I started to share. I joined this company. My upline wasn't helping multiple people. They were just marketers. They were not leaders at all. And so what happened was that I realized I was in a situation where if it's up to me, it's up to me. You know, there was no help, no mentorship. But I also, in all the books I was reading at the time, they were always talking about modeling and seeking out a top leader, seeking out a mentor. And so I realized I had no mentor. And back then it was really hard to find, like, there's a lot of generic industry trainers now. They come with benefits and drawbacks as well. It is so much better to be in the trenches in a specific company, like with the Save Club top leader. So like team of 1,500, over 136 plus personal signups so far. And I'm barely getting started. This is one of my very first videos specifically for YouTube and wherever else will accept however long the video ends up being. And so I share all that because that company, what happened, I sought out a mentor, and I found a guy who was doing some really cool traffic methods, and he was teaching me everything, and I wasn't even on his team. And I didn't know any better about, you're not supposed to rejoin a company or anything. I just wanted help. And this guy was super helpful. His name was Daniel. I am so grateful to him to this day. And so what happened was, I was like, I want to come join your team. And I really like the things you're sharing with me. And I trusted this person. Now, this was all over email, maybe a little Skype back in the day. There was no social media. I think my Facebook account was made in 2007. I never even got on really until 2012. And even then it was just for Facebook groups. You know why? To seek out mentorship from other top leaders in a company that I was in. That's why I came into Facebook. Little did I know, a couple years later in 2014, I was gonna have a big success and be crowned the king of this big organization of 10,000 people in 90 days. And that just put me on the world's map and radar. And Facebook then sucked me in and I didn't even realize it. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm so grateful for the way it all happened. But when there's a weekend, you know, I retired my dad on stage and they had crowned me king, and it was just all these crazy things. I didn't plan to retire my dad, but I just felt inspired in the moment and asked them if I could do that. So all these things happen, and next thing I know, there's hundreds and hundreds of tags and friend requests and messages, and it was the first time in my life I couldn't respond to every message, phone call, text, all of it. I was completely buried and overwhelmed. And that changed the course of my life and my career by quite a bit. But those things all happened. I share, like, how did I ever get on Facebook? I wasn't looking to have like a following. And what's crazy is Facebook's become a huge traffic source. And I don't even think like a huge influence source, where I have literally done thousands of hours of Facebook Lives. I've done thousands of hours of recorded videos, and all my Facebook Lives are basically lost now, the ones within YouTube, inside Facebook. So it's crazy. And so, you know, I'm in that company, and I go to switch to Daniel's team. I really love what he was sharing with me, and the things, whoa, what happened? So my phone, I've been using it so much, it literally just died in the middle of the video. So I go to switch to Daniel's team. He had been pouring into me. He was totally an honest guy, and he was literally just teaching me exactly what he'd been doing to enroll about one person a day on average. So between 20 and 30 people every single month, super consistently. And he just opened up his playbook and taught me exactly how it worked, because he understood, well, he didn't know I was going to join him when he was first sharing, but he shared a lot more once I did join as well. So he already gave me, that's a clue, he gave me value before I ever even, he didn't know I was going to join him. I was just asking him questions. I was fascinated by how he was enrolling so many people. Now, and I have to hold my phone in such a weird way because I have it plugged in here. Let me do something. There we go. I have a little more freedom now. So Daniel's pouring into me. I join his team. It's the best move I've ever made because that move then led to a full-time income, and I was able to safely leave corporate America because I joined a top leader, a true top leader, not just someone who could pour in and enroll a person per day, but someone who also could teach and help out. Now, what's very fascinating, he would never get on a phone call or Skypes or anything like that, and we became relatively close. He was about 5 or 10 years older than me, and he really knew his stuff. He was such a great guy, but English was a second language, and he was afraid. He didn't have self-confidence in his English, so he didn't want to get on calls. Like he didn't understand that I wasn't going to judge him. I just wanted to get to know him and all that. So, I end up learning all he teaches me, and then I go and teach it to dozens and then hundreds. And eventually that team turned into 4,400 people. So before all that, I had a team of 20 people. I had no help. Almost all the 20 were for me, and they probably took months to get everyone. So I had a few things that were kind of working, maybe putting in a couple people per week or something like that, 2 or 3 a week. And that's not bad. But when I saw such a better situation, and by the way, I also knew that happened to be a binary compensation plan, which is different from saveclub, which is a matrix, but spillover did matter, and it did help my check. And that's also why I sought him out, because the team I was on, they weren't recruiting, they weren't enrolling, they weren't in action, they weren't helping. I was getting no benefits besides they're just getting money from me because I just randomly happened to join a random link out there. And so one of the lessons within all this, I encourage you to do sponsor shopping. I encourage you to look for top leaders. If you like the things that I'm sharing with you, definitely go enter your name and email, optionally your phone number at the page down below, the link down in the description. And feel free to subscribe to my channel, like the video, whatever you want to do. Feel free to check my material, my content, and you can see, if we're going to work together, you definitely want to get to know me some. And I am the gateway for your entry into Team Inspire, which we've only been doing this for almost 6 weeks. We didn't even start a lot of the team stuff for the first week or so. We did start it pretty quickly, so I guess we've been doing all that for 5.5 weeks. But it wasn't structured when we started, and I was in the middle of moving homes. It was such a crazy time in my life. I'm just barely starting to get settled now, and it's really incredible what's happened. But it's because the leadership and the training and the camaraderie and the help that we have within our Team Inspire Mastermind group. There's nothing like this that I've ever seen in 19 years. And there's other leaders who have made more than my millions, 5, 7, 10 plus million. They're all saying the same thing. This is the best run. This is the best leadership in any Facebook group I've ever seen in my career. And some of these people are going 20, 25, 30 plus years in the industry. So I just wanted to pass some of that on. And I don't know if I'll get time to edit the videos and do screen share so you can see I'm at the top of the leaderboard and all that stuff. I'll try to, but I also just want to get this material out there. And I do have to do an edit anyway, because now this is the second video. So I very well might go insert some screenshots and share it, because you should have a healthy bias. And I think, I'll tell you how I approach things. I trust people, but the radar is always on, looking for holes in their game and looking for, are they being honest, and are they a real person, and are they cool, and would I like to work with them, and do they focus on personal development, and do they believe in serving others, and are they a top producer and recruiter, not just a top leader. If I had to choose between those, I would take a top leader all day long over just a recruiter. all day long. Now, you're gonna find others who would disagree with that. That's because they're holding their hand out looking for spillover and just hoping somebody else is gonna make them rich. And those people are never that, you want to be the person who gives the spillover, not the person waiting with your hand out receiving. That's like waiting for welfare, waiting for a check from the government, if you're even blessed to be able to get a check from a government somehow. But that will never ever set you free. That will never help you turn into your most fulfilled self with your hand out looking for other people to just take care of you. You have to become a sovereign leader of your own life. You become a top leader in Save Club by becoming a top leader of your own life. And as you do that, that leads towards being on leaderboards. It leads towards opening the right doors. It leads towards the possibility to work with mentors. It leads towards the possibility to work with a Save Club top leader. So I hope this video serves you well. I have lots and lots more on the way. Super excited to be doing recorded videos again. I haven't really done these since about 2014, 15, 16 when Facebook Live started happening. And so, and I love, YouTube was once my full bread and butter, although all of my videos with like 1 million views and hundreds of thousands of views, they're all deleted because I thought I was going to lose my account back in the day. So I went through and deleted all of my videos, all my best videos. And that's part of why I got away from YouTube back in the day. So I hope this served you well. Feel free to subscribe my channel, click the like or whatever. Feel free to message me. I don't know if we can still message in YouTube or not, but you can definitely find me on Facebook. I'm the only Jason Cardamone with the blue check mark, so you know you're not working with a scammer. And you can find my email. You'll have my email if you just go in to the site, go down in the description, click on the link, enter your name and email, and then you'll, not only will you start getting followed up from our AI, you'll get followed up from me and my systems personally, and you'll have my email address, my contact stuff, so you can just reach out there as well. Again, I check email about once a day, sometimes twice. Not as much as I used to, but maybe I will be checking it more. So I'm happy to serve you. Feel free to ask questions, feel free to drill me, and I'd be happy to show you some additional insights and just whatever I can do to serve you. I am here to help humanity, which means you, in any way that will serve you. And I believe that as I become an even better version of myself and continue down that path, and as I can inspire you and other people to become a better version of yourself, and sorry, my nose is all itchy here, for you to do the work, learn the skills, take action on the skills, because your level of success is equal to the amount of skills versus the amount of action you take on those skills. So if you're willing to learn the skills, take action on them. Whether or not you want to ever get on a camera like you're seeing from me, there are so many ways for you to find like-minded people and attract them in to working with you in a thing like Save Club so you can be a top leader. So what we have is a leadership duplication factory in Team Inspire. We create Save Club top leaders, period. That is the purpose of what Team Inspire does. And if that's what you're looking for, I will help you out. Link is down below in the description. Love, gratitude, my friend. You can do this if you're willing to learn, grow, take action, inspire people on the journey, because that creates a ripple impact as we're getting better together. There will be people that will listen to you that would never listen to me out there in planet Earth. They'll end up joining you. They'll end up changing the course of their life, which also you will make a ton, because we have leverage in this industry. And we definitely have leverage with the way the Save Club compensation plan works. It's incredible. And one nugget I never shared before, this little $20 membership, I've made more than 5 figures, even in the first month. I've never made more than this in the first month of anything in my entire career, except for a program back almost a decade ago that was $5,000 to $10,000 to join. not 20 bucks a month. So that's how significant this is. It's my biggest first month in my career, minus that one time with the high ticket program. And I love what we have in Save Club. I love it's 20 bucks a month. I love you get to save on things. You're right. This is like, it feels like a dream. I'm so grateful to be here. So hope this video served you well. Reach out, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, definitely go click on the link in the description. And that is your gateway to my world, my friend. Take care.